G'day guys, welcome to this week's weekly developer update. I'm CW and joining me once again is Armeanio. How are you?
Doing pretty well. It's a good week.
Yeah, amazing week. We've saw the conclusion of the actual sort of active hackathon, ErgoHack 6, Cypherpunk Finance. So now it's sort of handed over to like yourself, the judging team, to try and pick a winner out of the sort of the unique submissions that we've had this ErgoHack.
Yeah, so like today it's Thursday, 11 p.m. It ended yesterday. I haven't even had time to get started, unfortunately. But hopefully tomorrow I'll start digging through some of the documentation, some of the presentations people came out with. And yeah, it's not always easy to like differentiate, who's first, who's second here, because there's a lot of good stuff. So it's something I'll have to dig through and think about. I know we're going to have an event. When is that actually?
Which one? The mini summit, or what we're going to call it this time? Yeah. Just with the amount of submissions we've had, if everyone chucks a video in there, it'll be interesting to see. We have to come up with a different name for it. But at this stage, I'm trying to aim for about 4 weeks. So that gives a couple of weeks for people to actually create a video, allow for some editing and scheduling and stuff. And so maybe possibly the end to mid-March at this point in time, all going well. So we've reached out to a number of the projects and they're all looking forward to providing a video. So it's just a matter of getting all that together.
Yeah, we have quite a few. So, we get 15 half-hour videos. We got 7.5 hours of content.
Yeah. The last time it was the mini summit. This one might be a macro summit.
Yeah. That's good though. I'm looking forward to those. The SNIS one from last time kind of stuck with me. So
yeah, definitely, mate. All right. Well, let's jump into this weekly developer update. Now that we've gone through that little introduction, let's transition there.
All right. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, kicking things off this week, we have Ladopixel, and it's been busy. ErgoTutorials.com has 45 new tutorials for various languages. As you can see, there's a number there. Looks like close to 15, 20 odd for the Portuguese, Brazilian side of things. Another maybe 10 on the French side, and more again, German, Italian. They've been pretty busy, and that's I think little tools like this goes sort of hidden in the ecosystem. I think it's a really great resource jumping onto ergotutorials.com, because there's numerous sort of things up there on how to set up wallets, interact with NFTs, mint NFTs, interact with Python, all kinds of things. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely a good first stop for someone in the ecosystem that wants to learn how things work.
Yep. Most definitely, mate.
All right, next we have Greenhat, and he's been sick since Thursday, which that sucks. I hope he feels better. So he doesn't have that much to report. Work in progress on the off-chain code for making Oracle voting more friendly to decentralized environments, testing the voting on his pool, for the new update contract, introduced changes to the EIP 23 update contract. He's asking SkyHarbor to take a look. Looks like next, after testing the updated governance on his pool, he's going to start testing the governance on the gold erg pool on testnet.
Yeah, awesome to see. Even though been a little bit under the weather, there's still a pretty significant update. Next up, we have Kushti, and on the node and protocol development front, he released 5.0.7, and then just watching closely a few instances that are running, and all looks good so far, which is great to see. He's just also supporting pools and contributors, and he's also reviewed Sigma State Interpreter pool 863, and then his ErgoHack project, which is ChainCash. So he finished the ErgoHack prototype, which is able to mint and spend notes. He's also writing a report and updating the paper. We'll update the forum topic on checking signatures in contracts with a simpler option, and also some off-chain code. And then finally, on the Dexy front, made a spec for the UI development, discussing how to adopt current off-chain code to build the back-end and front-end on top of that.
Awesome.
I like his little comment here for Lado. Solid.
All right. Looks like next we have Morphic with Sigma. Looks like the next incremental PR with refactoring has been merged. Looks like he reviewed and merged a ScoreX poll by Dark Dragon. Dbox version 0.10.0 with Scala.js support has been released. Next up is to migrate AppKit to Sigma version 5.05 and publish ScoreX with Scala.js support on Sonatype.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, getting through all that sort of Sigma State Interpreter side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Plenty of updates. Next, we have Yasha from Spectrum Labs. So on the Spectrum Finance side, there's yield farming off-chain. So they've fixed issues preventing the bot from processing redeem orders, limit each compound order to 10 staking bundles. There's a bug where the bot gets stuck trying to process the same set of orders, and that's a work in progress. And there is the token name description for the bundling keys, and that's also a work in progress. They're conducting yield farming private testing with the super trusted community members. Then on the Spectrum Finance side on Cardano, the Docker image for the Haskell off-chain bots is a work in progress. And on the back end, they fixed the OOM problem in the new Ergo Analytics. They've added optimizations specifically for their app front end and the Ergo Analytics. Their yield farming API is also a work in progress. And on the front end, they've continued fixing the yield farming view issues, moved input selection to the SDK pull actions, and finishing off the SPF execution fee switch refactoring. And that's also a work in progress.
All right. After that, we have Luivatra with the Paideia MVP. He's still working on it. Not much to report. With the Koinly CSV, he's close to being done with a test version. He hopes to have something useful towards the end of the week. In terms of general infrastructure, he tried the app kit with extended node instead of Explorer. It needs some performance improvements before it can be switched. And he's looking into using Cockroach database instead of Postgres for their databases for ErgoPad and Paideia to allow for better consistency between the server instances.
Yep. There's some pretty interesting names for databases. Cockroach is a unique one.
Survivable, right?
Not wrong. So following, we have Captain Nemo and Nautilus. On the dApp connector, they added the signed transaction inputs method. On FleetSDK, they released version 0.1.0 alpha to 0.20. So see breaking changes at the following link. On the core side, they've added transaction serializer, added Ergo unsigned transaction model, and on the docs, they've updated docs to reflect the breaking changes. SigmaFi added ratio badge on new loan request model, and the ergo-graphql got rid of vulnerable dependencies, released version 0.4.3 with many improvements from Sephirothis. Scrolling down, next we have Gambit.
All right, so it looks like they added Flux and EGIO token listings to the site. Announced it through Twitter, and looks like they got up to 23,000 views. So the Flux tweet got 18,000 views. EGIO tweet 1K view, which is quite a record statistic for his Twitter. So it's pretty awesome. Getting better at marketing. Notification section probably coming today. It will be helpful to notify users that don't check socials, but play daily about announcements for the pool prize of 15% from Grand Gambit's profit from 1 month for the top 3 biggest winners that were posted on Twitter. Speedpot was launched. It has been a success so far. Now people can get their results within 20 seconds. And working on the same time, gambling addiction help page, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty cool to see, because having that speed pot, it's basically you deposit your erg or whichever tokens, your Flux, EGIO. There's Comet listed up there also. So having that ability to be able to play games near instantly, it's pretty cool. Not waiting for block confirmations and things. It's running on its own server. And yeah, it's definitely good, I think, having that little gambling addiction help page up there, because we see some full degeneracy. They have actually made a nice little announcement, and I think it was, don't quote me on this, but it's there's a 50% chance of winning 10,000 Comet each time you play, I believe. If you want some more details on it, jump onto their Twitter account and just seek clarification on that.
What's 10,000 Comet worth these days?
Probably 2/5 of nothing. I think on the tweet, I think it was 12 cents.
12 cents. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so following on from Grand Gambit, we have MHS and Rosen bridge. So finally, the bridge is working smoothly, and there are a lot of transactions per minute on both sides. So during the stress test, they discovered a couple of race conditions and bottlenecks. Almost all of them are resolved currently, and they'll let the bridge work under pressure for a few days just to continue that stress testing. They've almost minimized the use of chaos due to its bugs, latency, and being out of sync issues. And now that they're using Ogmios, I believe. However, it's important for them to have multiple channels, so they'll keep the code there for a little while until a better option's available. And finally, the first draft of the tokenomics is ready, and just working with a few experts to finalize that. A nice little UI image here as well, screenshot of the actual dashboard. Nice and clean, isn't it?
Yeah, it's looking good. Next, we have, looks like Ergcube. Working on token dashboard with prices, last hour changes, volumes, and total liquidity locked, etc. And added new projects on the section on index.
Yep, nice to see. Just continuously building away there on Ergcube. Next, we have LowKeyNerd and BlitzTCG. So they've recoded a large portion of the Blitz's database to better prepare for the matchmaking and allow for fancier things in the future. The minor website improvements have been pushed live, and including viewing your profile picture if you've set it from within one of Blitz's test builds. You can join our Discord, or their Discord, to help the Q&A and the playtest.
All right, and it looks like we have Mark. It looks like he's been working on GitHub. He split discussions into SIPs, GitHub discussions for the SigUSD improvement proposal repository to try to get more discussions for each proposal and iron out an implementation strategy moving forward.
Yep, that's good to see. So scrolling down, little comment here from Fanta. Is this fast enough? 9 milliseconds. And Luivatra's comment, no, I needed to go back in time. So next up we have Quokka and SkyHarbor. So still working on ErgoPay. They're attempting to reduce transactions via the front-end JavaScript, but is running into some issues. After that's complete, they'll be releasing a service to help people implement ErgoPay without doing all this work. Good to see. Nice little open source tooling for the community there.
It looks like we scroll down enough. Ergcube also finished adding verifications for all projects which are being fetched from the Sigmaverse API.
Yeah, nice. Nice little color scheme going on there. Continuing to scroll down, there's a little bit of discussion. Next up, we have a non-real, and I believe this is for the auction house. So decoupled the website from the Explorer. Now use the blockchain APIs for the new version of the Ergo node instead. Separated the network scanning jobs from the API into two different machines. The request latency is decreased in half, and scaling the API can now be done easily. They've set up Grafana and PM2 to monitor their services. Real-time and historical metrics are now available to them. Also set up log management services, better thumbnails with the JPEG conversion, and more image compression. Fixed a few bugs in the UI regarding showing proper size for the collection cards and the text on them. And finally, working on the final changes before a private test by the artists. I think that was one of the first instances, I think someone's mentioned, utilizing the indexing feature of the new node.
It could be, actually. I don't think I have. Let's see. Then we have MGpai with Ergo Sapiens. No update that week. Was busy with Hackathon and Lilium. And on the Lilium Hackathon project, the UI is complete. The API is complete. The off-chain bot is complete. Front end will be a few more days. Working on documentation and a demo of finished Hackathon product. Awesome.
And I think that sums up this week's developer update. I don't think there's too much more. It's just a little bit of discussion going on further down. But also this week, Alex wanted to have another discussion on EIP. So that'll be held tonight, which is... It's going to be held at 2 p.m. Friday UTC. I'll just say that. The time zones get a little bit tricky. So
tomorrow. Don't tell me tonight.
Yeah.
It's already like midnight here.
So by the time this video is released, the discussion would have occurred. If you want to catch up with that, jump onto the development channel and read through there. It's important for the community to get involved with those sort of discussions, because ultimately having different voices and everything like that, it does push the narrative forward, and people come up with different ideas and bright ideas and different ways for things to be implemented, etc. So by all means, participate in these sort of discussions.
Yeah, it's good to remember that you're a peer in the network, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Also have to mention that, we do have a couple of things coming up. So obviously yourself and the judging team pushing forward with the difficult task of reviewing and comparing and everything like that on the judging front for ErgoHack. We'll be having a community vote. That was the raffle was successful, which is amazing to see. Thanks to all who contributed there. And then to all the participants who actually took part in the ErgoHack. It's fantastic to see such a broad and diverse amount of projects coming forth. ErgoPad for sponsoring, the foundation for once again putting this on and funding and all, everything that they do there. So yes, a lot of things going on in the ecosystem. It is a bear market, but look at the hive of activity that we've got going on here in Ergo.
Yeah, there's a lot of neat ideas, especially this hackathon. I think is probably the best one so far. Looking forward to the next one. Not sure when that is yet or what it's about, but these certainly, I don't know. They're always fun events.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just say soon for the next one. All right, mate. Well, been a pleasure chatting once again and running through this weekly developer update once again. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good one.